What up? What up? What up? It's your man, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? Yes, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Ready for another show. Ready to have some fun. Man, it's a lot to get to. First of all, I pray that everyone's Christmas or holidays been good. I don't know if you celebrate Christmas. If you do, hopefully it was good. And just everybody's just having a good time right now, man. Relaxing, chilling, family. It's no snow here in Atlanta. I don't think it's snow anywhere actually, but if it is, like I said, I hope you're enjoying it. But I am glad to be back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Like I said earlier, man, I got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into today. The last 24 hours was an eventful 24 hours. A lot of stuff that happened, and we got to get into it, man. Have a great show. Today we're talking, of course, we got to talk about the Russell Wilson situation. A lot of people are mad. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard it, I was upset too, and but I mean, like I said, after processing it, I mean, kind of changed on it, I we'll talk about it. We'll get into it. Anyway, also we are talking about college football, man. The playoffs are about to start on New Year's Day. Thank God. I'm tired of that New Year's Eve crap. And the only reason why I say that is because if you got plans to go out or whatever, you can't, especially if like me, I gotta pay attention to the games, So, and especially if you're a college football player, that's gonna cause fights between or arguments between you and your wife or whatever. If y'all had some plan or what, just. But now we can really celebrate on New Year's Eve. A lot of times I couldn't celebrate because I'm watching the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching, seeing what's happening. But anyway, it's on New Year's Day, so I'm glad. So we get to kind of bring you back to how it used to be, but we get to talk about that today. Then, man, we got to talk about your boy Ja Morant. You saw the celebration. If you don't, I have the clip, and we will get to it. We will talk about it, but it was crazy, And I want to see what people think. People have to say because I'm gonna say what I have to say. And we have Danny Thompson, my guy, coming in on the show to give his thoughts on it. Like I said, his 3 cents on it. So we're gonna talk about that. Then we got the NFL football playoffs about to begin, man. You might as well say the playoffs has begun with certain teams. But we have to talk about this MVP race, man. I got to talk about my guy Purdy because everybody's talking nonsense. I don't understand why people hate him or hating on. I don't get it. We're gonna break that down, and then we got Dr. Fowler coming in on Ask the Doc. We got injury reports to your favorite players that's in your fantasy championship. We got to get into that. Also on basketball and everything, man. So we got quick hit, stop it. What's on my mind? So let your family and friends know they listen to the show live on the 3 Point Conversion Facebook page or watch it. And also we're on the 3 Point Conversion YouTube channel as well. So, hey, it is time to get to these quick hits. Let's get it. First off, man, Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco. I think it's Wander Franco has been summoned to the DR to answer complaints about allegations that he did, as far as they say, he did the Josh Giddey. My bad. I mean, inappropriate relationships with minors. But the fact that they summoned this joker all the way back to the DR, like, wow, they weren't playing. So we're gonna see what happened with that, man. If you know how I feel about it, like I always say, if he did it, he should get punished. He should really get punished. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, he's innocent till proven guilty. I don't know what happened. I don't know as far as what's going on. But like I said, if he did it, he need to get punished. So, and if he didn't, hopefully he gets off. The right way. So, but we'll see what happens with that. Moving on, man. Listen to this. The Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon had to receive 21 stitches to the face and hand after suffering lacerations from being bitten by the family dog. Not a dog, the family dog. First of all, our prayers go out to Aaron Gordon. That's my guy, man. Always been cool with me. But the family dog, huh? I'm gonna ask you all a question. People who owns a dog or whatever, if that happens, I mean, do you chastise your dog? Do you get rid of the dog? I mean, because that could be frightful, especially if you have children around. I wonder why he attacked him. But like, how do you deal with that? That's I don't have a dog. I don't own a dog, but I'm not gonna lie. A lot of thoughts going in my mind, and I'm just like, that's crazy though, man. I just pray, like I said, they say he should be back sooner than later. So that's good to hear. But we'll see what happens with that. Moving on, the NBA approves the 3.5 billion, well, roughly 3.5 billion of them things. It's a sale of the majority of stakes from the Dallas Mavericks by the Las Vegas Sands Casino. So Mark Cuban sells majority of his stakes, 3.5 billion of them things, and they the NBA, they approved it, NBA governor, so it's done. The question I want to ask though is, first of all, I wonder if Mark Cuban has any say so in this. I know he's not the majority, but or is it already in a clause that they can't move from Dallas because the fact that it's Las Vegas Sands Casino, and the fact that it seemed like the NBA was not giving Las Vegas a team. I wonder if we could see a potential team move, or this Dallas team move to Las Vegas. It's hard to see Cuban letting that happen or wanting to happen, or he might just be like, oh well, I'm still making money. It might be more money in Las Vegas, but it'd be sad to see Dallas been with the league for a minute and see them leave Dallas to go to Las Vegas be messed up. I think the NBA should just give them a team. But if he moved it, that would definitely be interesting, man. That would definitely be interesting. We'll see what happens. And then last but not least, Jimmy Jones, the old Dallas Cowboys coach, is set to be listed in the Ring of Honor for the Dallas Cowboys. I think it happens this week. My question is, what made it finally happen? Like, what made them finally get cool again? Because they weren't rocking with each other for a long time. They pretty much are tried to show respect, but the fact that Jimmy Johnson is being inducted into the Ring of Honor for the Dallas Cowboys, it's a big deal. That's a big deal. I'm glad they made up for it, man, because they did a lot of great things together. A lot of great things that did I say, I don't know if I meant to say Johnson, my bad if I didn't say Jimmy Johnson, but appreciate that, Kurt. But the fact that you look at what they've done and what they could have done, it's sad that happened like that and they weren't getting along. I mean, if you weren't like, I wasn't a Dallas fan, so I didn't care. So I was kind of glad they broke up. I hated the Cowboys back then. Cool with the Cowboys now, but appreciate that, Kurt. And but I'm not I don't care about the Cowboys. I mean, whatever. I don't have no hate or ill will towards them. But back then, I hated the Cowboys. So I was a Barry Sanders fan. So I wasn't rocking with Emmitt Smith back then. Even though Emmitt wasn't the homies now. What up, Emmitt? But yeah, I wasn't rocking with the Cowboys then, so I didn't care. I was glad it didn't work out, but I'm glad it's working out now and they're good, and we'll see what happens or whatever. Kurt, he's still just like the Cowboys. Hey man, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that hate the Cowboys right now, man. And again, so but again, still it's good to see that, it's not affecting the field. So the fact that they're allowing it to happen, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So that completes the quick hits. We're gonna take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, man. And we got the hot topic, which is the Russell Wilson saga. It's still going on. We thought it was over, man. I thought because he was playing well, but we're about to talk about this, man. So we'll see what happens with this. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Earl Campbell.
Hey, it's Chuck the Iceman Liddell.
This is Emmett Smith, and you're listening to 3 Point Conversion.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And man, so Kurt, no. Kurt, come on, bro. We was right. We was cool. How you gonna be a Packers fan? Come on, dog. No. We're gonna be cool for right now, though. We cool for right now. You know what I'm saying? We don't play each other till the last week of the season, so I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, Kurt, we all hated them. We all hated the Cowboys, man. But speaking of a player that the Packers hate, man, Russell Wilson, he's in Denver, and with Denver, they didn't start off so well. And matter of fact, I think I talked about this on the show last week, talking about how Russell Wilson, like, people don't give him enough credit. Like, he's been playing well, and I don't know if you can put it all on Russ, but it's a new offense. Still got the same wide receivers who I don't know what's going on, man. They not playing well, and right. And I don't know. But either or, Peyton made a big move and decided to bench Russell Wilson for the last 2 games, at least for this game. I think they said the last 2 games, but we know for sure for this game coming up. And some of the reasons the 2 reasons that came out was the fact that they're saying that has something to do with money, financial wise, guaranteed. If he doesn't play 2 games, I don't know what it is. They weren't really specific, but I think it's if he plays 2 games, if he gets hurt, I don't know if they lose the money or he gains money. I don't know what it is, but it has something to do financially. But then the other reason is Peyton just came out and said, yo, we need a spark. That's what it is. We really need a spark. So I know people was upset, and people love Russ, and they're like, because we saw the incident last week when what was it, a Thursday night when or Sunday night when Russ, whatever game it was, when Russ was getting yelled at by Peyton, even though Peyton said it wasn't because of I wasn't yelling at him. It wasn't about that. It was about the play, the offsides play on somebody else. And I mean, that could be. I know people that take it out on other folks. You know what I'm saying? But hey, like I said, it's crazy to see that. And honestly, I thought about this. Like Kurt says, Russ has been playing well, but he isn't Peyton's guy. And Kurt, I thought about that too, and you're right. But this is what puzzles me about that. He knew what he was getting into when he got Russ. And maybe he was like, hey, it's not working. This is not the guy I want. But you took that job knowing they just signed him for a long-term deal, a big deal. So now reports are nothing came back that they said Russ is gone. But I mean, you can read the room. You know what I'm saying? When you see something like that, for the most part, it seemed like it's a wrap, basically. So we'll see with that. But let me get into what he said about as far as the spark. Now you got to remember, this is a prodigy of the tuna, Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells actually done this before, saying, hey, I remember he brought in I can't think of his name. It wasn't Feely. I can't think of his name. But number 4, when he was coaching the Jets. God, I can't think of his name. But I remember he brought him in. He benched, was it Testaverde? I think it was Testaverde. He benched him and he brought in this guy. I can't remember who it was, but either or, he brought him in, and I remember, and the guy won. And I remember Parcells said, first he brought him in the middle of the game. He benched him in the middle of the game, and he said, we just needed a spark. I remember that. And honestly, back then, that's how they used to do it. I remember Arcel benched Hotsteller within the game, and he brought in Vince Evans in '93. And Vince Evans came back and won a game. I remember that. They said we need to spark. The difference is, no, it wasn't Lucas, Kurt. It wasn't Lucas. It was he had white hair. He was not trying to be racist, but he was a white guy. He wore number 4. I cannot think of his name. But I'm looking dead at him. I can't think of his name. But either or, the difference is though, when they benched those quarterbacks and said they need to spark, they brought him in within the middle of the game, benched him. Foley, that's who it was. Foley. That's why I said Feely. Foley. Yep, it was Foley. Glenn Foley, I think. I think it was Glenn. But yep. So appreciate that, Kurt. But the difference is he benched him in the middle of the game, brought the guy in, needed that spark, or both of those coaches, and it worked. But the next game, they started the starter. This is different, of course. Like I said, the fact that you bring it and sit them, and you have a 1.4% chance of getting the playoffs. Okay. Maybe that's why they brought him in. If they had a 30 or 40% chance, would they bring in Russ? I mean, would they bring in Sidham? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's probably calculated because that's how Sean Payton is. But again, does this mean Russ is gone? Man, it definitely looks like it. And the messed up part is it's messed up for us because I mean, let's be real. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. We know with Hackett, Hackett was just a horrible coach. Hackett couldn't coach. He's good for Aaron Rodgers, and he thinks that's what he got to do is he has Aaron Rodgers no matter who he has as quarterback, and it's not going to work like that. And I think that I don't blame that on Russ because you saw even when Hackett got fired the last game before the season, the next game they scored like 28 points in the first half. So it's okay, it's Hackett. Then you bring in Peyton. It's still not working. It's better, but it's not working. And maybe sometimes, man, it just don't work. It's just not the. You're right, Kurt. Some coordinators are better than as coordinators rather than head coaches. But I don't think that it worked. It's just a good fit. Maybe it's the wide receivers because evidently they're not getting open. Russ is still running for his life. So you made some moves for the line. That's not working. And you're right, Kurt. It might be the fact that it's financial. I mean, it probably is like, hey, we paying this guy, but what they're going to do? Cut him? And I think that might have something to do with it as far as not letting him play the last 2 games, I think. But if you cut him, Russ still gets his money. But, I mean, now you can draft one of these other quarterbacks. But here's the thing. Are they sitting him down just to say, all right, we'll have a better case of saying that, hey, this is because of Russ. Because Sidham came in, and next thing you know, we're moving the ball. We're getting, scoring. You got to remember, Russ style is, yes, Russ make quick decisions, but if it's not there, Russ game is, all right, let me run around. Let me find out what I do. I make things happen. Sean Payton coached Drew Brees. You didn't see Drew Brees do that. Drew Brees either got it out quickly, he had time, and he peeking over the offensive line. Now, him and Russ got that in common, but other than that, that was it. And if nobody was there, Brees might have bought a little time, but he threw it away or got away quickly if somebody was open. That's not Russ's game. So maybe it's just a fit. And if so, we get it. We're not mad at that. I don't think nobody's upset at that. It's just what it is. It looks messed up for Russ, but I don't know. I just got a good feeling that if Russ is not there, you know what team I see Russ going to? And I know they tried it before and it didn't work out. but you have a veteran coach. You have young players, but I think that can work. And the coach that might be on his way out the door and maybe doesn't want to leave. I think New England Patriots. I think it's the perfect fit. And the good thing about it is you still can draft a quarterback. Let him sit under Russ for a year or two. And you never know. What if it does work out? What if it work? It might work. And if it does, you still have that quarterback for the future. We've seen it countless times with other quarterbacks and other teams. Aaron Rodgers, who else? Is somebody else that just has just done it. But you see where players sit and they come in and it works out. Jordan Love, I think Jordan Love is balling. Hence Kirk's team, but I think Jordan Love is balling right now. Um, Kurt asks, would Belichick let Russ cook? Let's think about this. So when Russ was at his best, Russ had a running game, right? That's what Belichick loves to do is run the ball, pound. You don't put too much on Russ, but at the same time, you let Russ do what he do. The thing is, as long as Russ is not making mistakes or intercepts, getting sacks or causing interceptions, because I don't think that line is that bad in New England, the offensive line. So as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do, I believe he'll let Russ do whatever he wants. As long as he's not making mistakes, I'll say that. I think he'll let Russ do whatever he wants. That'll be between him and the offensive coordinator. So then you got a veteran offensive coordinator as well in New England. So I think it works out. And people say that Kirk's saying that Belichick might be on his way out. I don't think as an owner, especially somebody like Robert Kraft, will say, you know what? It's a wrap. You got to go. Just for the simple fact that Robert Kraft understands that they have 6, 7 championships. Yeah, it was part of Brady, but that's not play dumb. A big part of that was Belichick as well. So I don't think you kick a coach out the door like that. You might hint, you know what I'm saying? Might give him some money, try to play it off. And, I think your wife might need time. You might say stuff like that, but you don't kick that caliber of a coach off or fire him, especially he gave you 7 chips. You can't do that. Or 8 chips. What? I'm sorry, 8 chips? 8 chips, I believe. 8 or 9. How many of it? Or either or, whatever. He gave you more than any other franchise has right now. So you can't kick him out. So this might give Belichick life. It might, if that happens. So that's the team I see him going to. But again, it looks bad. We don't know what's going on. I mean, it could be demeaning. The fact that they move Russ to number 2. That part too, because usually if they're bench a quarterback, like we saw last year with Derek Carr, it was like we knew Derek Carr was out the door. He wasn't playing. He wasn't a number 2 quarterback, but Russ would be the number 2 quarterback. So we let's just wait to see what happens. But again, it doesn't look good. Again, I think Russ is out the door. It might be best for both sides, especially financially wise for the Denver Broncos. And then you go to New England. That's the only team I see right now. Every other team right now has a solidified quarterback or is in the making of or in the runnings of getting another quarterback, with all these quarterbacks coming out. So let's see, man. Let's see. Like I said, I'm quick to I'm anxious to find out. And Kirk says change has to come at some point if they aren't even making the playoffs. You're right. I mean, you can't be mediocre. You paying them too much to be mediocre. And Russ is my guy. It's my favorite player in the league. Nothing against Russ, but I'm just saying that makes sense. Like, I understand that with any organization. If we paying you so much and you the leader of the team and we see mediocrity. I can't go by that. I can't go by that. So we'll see. But we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna talk more football, man. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's Kalen DeLoach, linebacker.
This is Tyler Van Dyke. I play quarterback for the University of Miami.
What's going on? This is Shador Sanders. You're here listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
All right, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, and it's time to talk college football. But first, we got to do our nosy neighbor, and my nosy neighbor for this week. And if you all don't know what the nosy neighbor is, basically, you know how you have that nosy neighbor who's always peeking out the blinds, looking, being nosy. That's what I'm doing right now. But we do it for whether it's we're being nosy about a team, a player, coach, own all of that. And right now I'm being nosy. I'm just being nosy about everything. I want to see what's going to happen and how many players won't play in the entire college football, like during the bowl game. Like, I don't know. Hey, appreciate that, Kurt. Appreciate that, bro. I really want to know how many players are sitting out of bowl games. People that are entering the NFL draft, and which it makes sense. And right now, since it's about money and you letting these players make money, you have to respect it. Honestly, you do. Can they make a rule and say, hey, you have to play? Then you have players faking injuries, but you got to understand who would want to get injured before they enter the draft. I don't think no one. So I get it. I definitely get it. But that's what I'm nosy about. I want to see how many big time players like Florida State and Georgia. You might as well. Might as well put Pee Wee football on during that time, because like, who are you going to watch? No one is playing in that game. No one. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's good for parents who have their children who hadn't had a chance to play. I get it. You want that. That's good. But I'm just saying, as a fan, like, I don't think I'm be watching that game. But there's going to be a lot of games like that. But moving on, man. Let's talk about these games going on. And I just want to really get on the playoffs. And like I was saying earlier, I like the fact that they're playing on New Year's Day. I'm an older cat, and I remember watching football, college football, New Year's Day, and you always had all these games come on New Year's Day, but then the last few games which mattered was like the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl, and they were all played on Saturday, but that New Year's night. And that's what it was. So I miss that. I miss seeing that. And like I said, so I was glad to see that right now. I was glad to watch that, glad to eating whatever you eating, we eat. Our traditions: fried chicken, black eyed peas, greens or something green. We had salad, cornbread, and we were watching the game. So like I said, hopefully, you all get to enjoy that. But let's get to this first game, because this Alabama-Michigan game is the most interesting game to me, just because, and this is what I love about and miss about college football and about college sports, period, is the fact that you got two different teams, two different types of teams, where as far as different styles. Michigan, we're going to run the ball, ground and pound, and play defense. Matter of fact, it was the old way Alabama used to play. But this is what they do. A lot of people say they aren't that good. That's just how they do. I mean, it's not fun to watch, but they're successful at it. But now they're playing against a team where Alabama's changed, where Alabama used to be that ground and pound team, but now Alabama, they have a quarterback can move around, who has an arm. Alabama's still tough and gritty. That's who they are. But it's just the teams are different. Who's going to like? First of all, Kurt, I know you said you want to see Harbaugh lose. I get it. But tell me this. When is the last time in a big game, you saw two, and I don't want to say Harbaugh's an historic coach, but he's starting to get to that point. You got two big time coaches like this, where they name holds weight. Kirby is getting to that point now too. So we could say Kirby, but Kirby and Alabama, they play each other. So Kirby and God, I can't think. I just lost the coach's name at the tip of my tongue, but Alabama coach for now. Saban, Kirby and Saban, we've seen them coach against each other because they're in the same conference. But to see Harbaugh and Saban, remember, Saban was the one that got mad at Harbaugh when he was doing those camps, those radio camps in Florida, down south. Remember, Saban was the one that told, hey, he can't do that here. So to see, Kurt says Nick Satan, but to see Saban and Harbaugh go at it already, that's good. Two good coaches, two coaches that get their team ready for the games. But then you got these two opposing different styles. I'm going to say this. To me, this will let you know how good Michigan is. Because Michigan, yeah, they beat Ohio State. And I understand the fact that that's a big time team. But again, that's who you play in your conference, right? You're used to playing them. So you know their tendencies, you know what to expect. Vice versa. But to play now, you're playing Alabama, another top 4 team that you don't see on a regular. I don't even think Alabama's played Michigan since Harbaugh's been there. So to see them play each other at this point in time, this how you know if Michigan is good. Because I've been skeptical about Michigan. I always said Michigan is not that good. They hadn't played anyone. I mean, they're tough, they're gritty, but if they play a high-powered offense, I'm not saying Alabama's a high-powered offense, but if they play an offense that's good enough and with a great defense, how would they fare? We're going to see. On the other end, I've been saying it for the last 4 weeks. I think Alabama's getting to that point where you don't want to play Alabama right now. Alabama looks scary. As a matter of fact, Alabama looked like the toughest team to me. They look like the toughest team in the playoffs right now. As Kurt said, that SEC speed is different. You're right. And we're gonna transition to the other game, but I just don't think that Washington they're battle tested, but I don't know if they're on a level of Alabama with the speed, some big jokers and hitting, and I don't know. So Alabama to me is the scariest team in this playoffs right now. So in these playoffs right now. So if Michigan comes out, then okay, now we're like, all right, Michigan might be the real deal. Then I think at that point, if you're Harbaugh, you get whatever extension you want. They should leave him alone because college football, they don't like Harbaugh. They keep coming at him. So I'm surprised we hadn't heard another scandal happen this week. So I do have Alabama winning this game, but it's hard to bet against Michigan because they always come out and win. But it's just hard to see that Michigan offense, even though they run the ball, to be able to beat Alabama. I can't see it. The Washington-Texas game, this is real interesting because Texas, everybody got Texas ahead of Alabama because they beat them. This was in September, October, early October. Oh, okay. I mean, it's a different team now, but either or, Texas went through their schedule. They've won. Sarkisian got them boys playing, but my thing with Texas is as good as they are, can we say they're battle tested? One thing we can say about Washington is they're battle tested, very battle tested. Um, the way they've won, who they've played in the best conference this year. I hadn't seen a close knit group like this in a long time. As a matter of fact, the last close knit team I've seen like this was probably like that 89 Miami Hurricanes, the 88 Miami Hurricanes, maybe even the 2000s Hurricanes. I'll say them as well, just the Hurricanes, period. So the last maybe, what was it, 2002, I believe, or 2001. I hadn't seen a college football team this close knit like that since then. And Washington they're very close knit. You could tell they believe in each other. You could tell they love each other. You could tell the pride they have in each other or with each other. And they play for each other. That goes a long way in college football. And because of that, I think that's why you see them being battle tested. Because when they are down, when they're not playing well, somebody steps up. They believe in each other. They give a pep talk to each other. Yeah, other teams do that, but they really mean this. Quarterback, accurate. The running game is great. The defense can hold you when they need to. I just believe because they're battle tested, I just have them beating Texas. I have them beating Texas. So my picks right now, I have Alabama and I have Washington playing in the national championship. Kurt, let me know what you think, man. Anybody else is watching, y'all let me know what y'all think. But I have Alabama and I have Washington meeting in championship game. Kurt says he has Texas versus Washington. Oh, he said Washington could be a shootout. It could be. And that's why I think Washington win, because they're just battle tested. Like, it's hard to see them lose. Like, they always come out on top. They have been this year. So they have this year. So it's like, it's hard to see Washington losing right now in the shootout. So Kurt says you like Washington. Who you like in that Michigan Alabama game, Kurt, and everyone else? But yeah, so those are my picks, and we'll see what happens, man. But I can't wait. I'm excited. Man. I'm very excited. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
My name is George Iceman Gervin.
This is Dylan Brooks.
What's up? This is Vince Carter. You're listening to the 3-Point Conversion. Check it out.
All right, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, and this segment is what I like to call What's on My Mind. This is where I like to get some stuff off my chest, whether I'm happy, upset, mad, confused. Okay, Curtis with me, says Bama. And just like I said, man, just let me get some stuff off my chest, man. This is just some stuff off my chest. So this is, like I said, this is where I'm just gonna go talk about some things. So here we go, man. What's on my mind? First off, so social media, a lot of people talk about social media, whether they like it or not. Some people don't like it. I can't really say I hate social media, because y'all watching my show through social media, and that's how the 3-Point Conversion rose up. That's how we've been able to cover these NFL teams and covering the Super Bowl and doing all this, because of the rise, yes, our good work, but us being able to put it on social media, because where else would anyone else find us? I get it. So for that, I'm very thankful of social media. I love social media. But this is the part that I can't stand social media for. I'm a sports fan, Mr. Controversy. So y'all know I love to debate. I love to talk sports, because I love sports. I know sports, I love to debate and talk sports with somebody else who knows sports. I don't mind losing a debate. If I lose a debate, that's fine. Because that means you know your sports too. I've took some losses. I have. I get more wins than losses. I'll say that. But no, I've taken some losses. I don't mind it. It's nothing wrong. And I'll admit when you got me, you're right, dog. You know what? Nothing wrong with that. But this is where social media gets me. Because you know what social media is? For a lot of people that aren't really real sports fans, that watch sports, but not sports fans, somebody that can say, I watch a little bit, but this is my opinion. Put it like this. If I'm having a live debate in a barbershop or in the store, wherever, this particular person or these people that I'm talking about wouldn't say anything. They'll just sit there and nod and laugh, and that's it. Which is cool. And I know this is why they love social media. But social media is the platform for these guys that don't know sports, that don't understand sports, but think they know sports, to say whatever they want to say. And then can get protected by other people that don't know sports and don't know what they're talking about to come in and say certain things. Y'all tell me, how many times have you seen somebody, or you've been on social media and Facebook never fails, or Twitter, Facebook never fails. You'll be on there talking and somebody say some outlandish, crazy crap. And you're looking like, what? Like, boy, you sound crazy, whatever. Everybody's going in, but then they have some other guy that comes in and start talking. No, he's right. And saying they're dumb opinions too. I hate that. It's just about nerves. And you should be qualified to talk about sports because you don't know what you're talking about. You just said something because you saw a stat or you saw somebody post a video. You don't know two people from this team. You can't name an offensive lineman. Matter of fact, what you just stated in your post is not true. You saw somebody else. I'm telling y'all, I hate that. I'm glad they have a platform to find speak, but if you don't know, you don't know. That's what's on my mind. Kurt says there are sports fans and fans of sports. Big difference. But you're definitely right. It just, like I said, it bothers me, man. Like, now I'm to the point now I don't say anything. I don't go back and forth. I just, like, I'm gonna say something. I'm a Bears fan. So I'm very passionate, and I don't mind. I'm gonna let y'all in. I said I'm gonna let y'all in. Excuse me, Aaron. Don't get mad at me. He's another Bears fan. But I'll say this. Right. They do. So listen. Somebody told me, Badgett, the Bears backup quarterback, right? The one that everybody was trying to put over Justin Fields, and Chris Collinsworth said Justin should learn from him. Stop it. Anyway, this guy said, hey, you know what? What they should do is, okay, let Fields play quarterback, but they should use Badgett like they use what's the guy Taysom Hill in New Orleans. They should use Badgett like Taysom Hill. What? Yeah, let him play tight end like Taysom Hill. And see, stupid stuff like that makes me mad. It makes me want to get off social media. Makes me want to say, you know what, I'm good. I'll just post my stuff and I'm out. I can't. You about to. And you know what? I can go back and forth with Kurt, but I can't say that because we've been losing to the Packers. So I can't say anything. But I'd rather deal with something like that where somebody knows what they're talking about versus somebody saying some outlandish, stupid stat or untrue. I call it an untrue fact. That's what I call it. I call it a true fact. That's what I call it. My guy, Ab, what up, Ab? Social media is frustrating, especially in groups. You right, Ab. Like when me and Ab go at it, me and Ab can go at it, but we're good. We know what we're talking about. I never said we might say you tripping, but it's never like he's tripping. Ab knows what he's talking about, vice versa. But I can't deal with it, man. I can't deal with it. But I'm just saying. Here's my other what's on my mind. I have two. I don't know if y'all been on social media listening, and Jonathan Owens, Kurt, you should know this guy. Plays for the Packers. He's engaged or married. I don't know if he's married yet. I think he's married now to Simone Biles. But he was on podcast The Pivot, and they asked him about how in the world you end up with Simone Biles. And he talked about how he was on some dating site for celebrities and everything. And he said that because he was the catch. He said he was the catch. She saw him, whatever. He didn't know who she was and all of that. But first of all, you get to stop it for saying you didn't know who she was. Come on, that's Simone Biles. Like, stop it. Anyway, my son doesn't watch sports like that. He knows who she is. That don't make sense. But anyway, still, but he said that he was the catch. Social media went crazy. All the women, how you gonna be the catch? Whatever, stop lying. See, that's what I'm saying. Really, you gonna put her like that? And she, shut up. Why can't he be the catch? Some of y'all probably found y'all husbands because y'all was all on them. It happens. I mean, I found my wife. I was the one that saw her. Okay, cool. But it's instances where you don't think these women be on us like that? Come on now. I can tell you from experience they be on your boy. But I know they be on. Come on. Kill me with all that mess, man. Then you have some man talking about that. He wrong. How he disrespecting her like that? No, he's not. He was asking questions. Y'all didn't watch the whole thing. Talking about how he loves her, and he supports her, she supports him, and they're happy. And she wasn't even tripping. Come on now. I'm just saying. This is getting on my nerves. That's what's on my mind, y'all. And I guess that's tying into the social media stuff. Like I said, I'm not angry. It was just on my mind. This is what I thought, what I couldn't understand. I didn't get. I don't know. But look, appreciate y'all for listening to the What's on My Mind segment. I need to get that out. I really did need to get that out. Kurt said, how do we know she wasn't on the dating site under a fake name? No, it wasn't. He said it. He didn't, because it's a celebrity site. So only you gotta show who you are and to have proof and all of that. So it's like for all celebrities and athletes and big time, it's for those. So that's how he knew. That's how they knew. He's still bugging talking about he didn't know what she was. But okay. And if you didn't, stop it. Whatever. But either or, that's what it is, Kurt. I don't get it, bro. But look, we're going to take a quick break, man. We're going to be back for what? Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what time it is. What everyone wants, what everybody wants me to do. Get y'all ready because it's time for the Stop It segment. Be right back.
Hey, it's Chuck the Iceman Liddell, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
All right, we are back inside the 3-point conversion sports lounge. And it is now time for the most infamous, the most famous Stop It segment. Let's get it. So, my Stop It segment, or my Stop It goes to, dang, Kurt, I promise you I'm not doing this because you're here, man. To the Packers, to the Packers, Jair Alexander. So, this guy, they're playing Carolina Panthers, right? So this guy, before the game, they go, you had your captains, right? You have the captains. Captains go out through the coin toss. This Joker elected himself to be a captain and went to the field with the other three players, went to the field and told himself and went up there. And then when they did it, he wasn't supposed to go now. Then when they flipped the coin, this Joker was the one that said, we defer. You're not supposed to say we defer, because if you say we defer, that means you're saying we're gonna play defense. We're gonna take it from here, whatever. That means the other team gets the kickoff. They'll get the ball for the first half and second. Remember, he had nothing to do with this. He wasn't supposed to be there and almost jacked it up. The only thing that saved him was LaFleur already talked to the wrestlers like, yo, look, first half, we get it. We're going to kick off. But Alexander, he said the wrong term, but the ref knew from what LaFleur said, so he let him get away with it. But then when asked about it, this is what he said. He said, I'm only suiting. What he said? He's like, I don't think coach knew I was from Charlotte, so.
Hey, it's Chuck the Iceman Liddell, and you're listening to the 3-point conversion.
That's Chuck. We needed you to come and whoop Jair's. All right, but that's what we needed you to do. He didn't know I was from Carolina. What does that got to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? But you know what, bro? I'm sorry, but you got to get that. Here we go. We got to give you that.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know what was going in your mind, but you definitely get to stop it. Like that was insane to me. Like then you almost messed up everything too. Oh, okay. So Ab, we got a couple of stoppers. Hey, I love this. Ab says this stopper goes to the Cowboys fans for talking about the refs in the Dolphins game. Yeah, stop. They were talking a lot, and stop it. Yeah, Ab, they get to stop it too, bro. They do. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn this up, man, so they can really hear the stop it. But yeah, they get that stop it. They were bugging too. We got one more. Kurt says that my stop it. Hold on. All right, here we go. My stop it goes to those judging Ja Morant celebration without looking deeper. Please. I ain't gonna touch that because I'm gonna talk about that. I'm going to get on that, Kurt. But I want go ahead. Put why you said without looking deeper. I want you to put that there because I want them to see this. But we're going to talk about this later on in the show. But Kurt, you gotta let us know what makes you say that, okay? Or you could wait till we talk about it. But that's interesting. He said Jair messed up by going out for the toss without being appointed a captain. I know, that's what I'm saying. You wasn't even a captain, and you just go out there like come on, dog. Like, who's the? I don't know. I don't get it. So that doesn't make sense to me. it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No, you didn't miss the topic. So all right. You know how people show up at your door, your neighbor or your door, whatever, without asking, without letting you know they're gonna come. When you were comfortable, you were doing what you were doing, and whether you was eating or whatever, and they just come in out of nowhere. Well, this guy's doing this right now. We just gonna let him in, man. I'm gonna let this guy come in. What up, Daddy? You got Daddy Thompson, man. Yeah.
What, knock you without asking? Really? You sent me the link to come by.
Daddy was supposed to come at 8:15. You know how you, but Danny, I'm glad you come because we want you to come in and talk with us. I'm glad you got time. I'm messing with you.
Hey, I'm on time. Hey, I'm one of the few black people on time for stuff.
All right, so Daddy, let's let everybody know. So you still got 15 minutes, right?
I'm here early. Let's go.
Okay. So we're gonna be going. We're gonna talk. You know what? We're gonna talk about. We're gonna keep it with the NFL, and then we're gonna go to transition to the NBA. So first off, with the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm here in Atlanta, and I know, Danny. I know you're a Falcons fan, but and I'll ask you the question because I was going to speak on it, but I'll ask you to guess. Do you feel that Arthur Smith bought him a little time or had bought a little favor, just a little bit, after this win versus the Indianapolis Colts? Because Indianapolis Colts was hot. But go ahead. I know you don't want him there, but do you think he bought him just a little? Like, okay, let's see.
At this point here, Arthur Blank is not going to fire Arthur Smith at this point. If it didn't happen after the Carolina game, I don't see it happening. I think they'll get through the Chicago game this week, and they'll finish up the season, whatever happens. I think the real decision will happen at the end of the season. Arthur Smith's job depends on making the playoffs. At this point in the year, Atlanta has to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, I think he's fired at this point because there's too much that happened this season for them in the situation that happened. And go and stay and keep it with Desmond Ridder with all the turnovers he had in the red zone all season, and for him to keep going back to it. Also, the mismanagement of how they use Bijan Robinson in the passing game and the things that he was brought in to do, because he was an offensive guru in Tennessee. When you have Derrick Henry running behind the offensive line, you have Ryan Tannehill throwing to A.J. Brown. It makes things look a lot easier. So I think that at this point, he only bought time because Arthur Blank didn't fire him in the first place.
Only reason I think, like you said, he wasn't going to fire him anyway. But I really think that he was like, let's see. What if something happens? Let's see what happens. But I agree. I mean, I just say this: the play devil's advocate. Ridder wasn't Arthur Smith's guy. Ridder didn't pick his quarterback as of yet. I don't believe Ridder wasn't Arthur Smith's guy. But all I'm saying is, I'm not saying they should keep him. I'm just saying, do you give him another chance though? If he says, "Look, I didn't have the quarterback of my choice. This guy was here when I got here. Or y'all drafted him as when I came. Should we play?"
No, because here's the problem. Arthur Smith committed coaching malpractice last year. So actually, Desmond Ridder was on staff when he was under the regime of Arthur Smith. Because you remember, when Arthur Smith showed up, Matt Ryan was still the quarterback for the Falcons. They drafted Desmond Ridder in the draft last season. Here's where it became malpractice. When Atlanta was somehow flirting with a playoff spot, knowing that Marcus Mariota was the quarterback, and at some point we all knew this was supposed to happen, he should have been benched. Mariota should have been benched after the Carolina game where he threw that backwards 360 pass that we all try and Madden in the rain that was unfortunately picked by the other team, that we tried that.
Madden 94.
Yeah. The very first next gen Madden, he tried that pass. He should have been benched at that point. We should have saw what Desmond Ritter did last year on a bigger scale. Ritter got 4 games. That's all he got last year. So he was learning to, and then he won the last 2 games. One of them was against Tampa when Tampa rested all their starters last year because Brady played, I think, the first quarter or so because they treated it like a preseason game. Right. Here is the thing. Under Arthur Smith, Atlanta has drafted three tremendous talents on offense in the Arthur Smith regime. Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. Neither one of the 3 guys, London or Pitts, have hit 1,000 receiving yards, and I think London will hit it next week. The offense has been stagnant. You have a running game that has Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordell Patterson. What they had used Bijan Robinson for has been malpractice all season. Desmond Ritter gets put back in the game with 11 turnovers in the red zone, but Bijan Robinson fumbles in a monsoon last week and gets benched.
Right.
Atlanta's defense has a top 10 defense, Raph. When have you heard the Falcons have a top 10 defense in points allowed and points and yards allowed? It's only happened 4 times since, I think, 1997. It's happened 4 times. And each of the 4 times previous to that, the Falcons made the Super Bowl, they lost the NFC Championship game, and they won the division. This time, the only reason why the Falcons are 7-8 is because the defense has been good. Not because of the offense. The defense has been the reason why. So I think at this point, there has to be a coaching change. I think Dave Ragone should have been gone a long time ago with the play calling because it's been way too conservative. Arthur Smith needs to go at this point. It's time for a complete retooling at this point. No quarterback was going to save this thing. Lamar Jackson wasn't going to do it either. So they all got to go at this point. It's just a matter of time until Arthur Blank really opens up the checkbook and go get a quarterback that the Falcon fans can really go for in the situation.
You have it. Falcons fan speaking truth, what he believes in, and he's better to say it than I am. So I give you that. So I want to transfer to this MVP race, but got to let me have the floor because this was I got to do this. So this Brock Purdy crap is killing me. I don't understand how everyone wants to hate on this guy. If you don't think he's an MVP, cool. But why all the hate? And I'm not talking about they hating because they don't know. It's real hate. Like everybody has something to say about this. Yeah, see, he didn't do this. I knew he wasn't this guy. Oh, what about the MVP? It's like he had one bad game. Okay. Y'all weren't saying this about Pat Mahomes on Christmas Day? Like he had one bad game. He had an awful. Now, I can understand if you all were in the fantasy playoffs fighting for the championship and he screwed y'all up. I get that. I'm not mad at y'all for that. He helped me win, but I understand that. But this guy has over 3,900 yards, 31 touchdowns. Why are y'all hating on this? He's good. Then it's the other thing that gets me, Danny and everyone else. Why do y'all feel like, okay, I understand that he has a plethora of weapons, right? And CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, you right. But this is the dumbest thing I've heard. They say, yeah, he's just a system quarterback. So this is why it's dumb to me. Because I mean, when you look at it, when you first see it, you like, yeah, okay, he gets it. But here's the thing, in America, you know who else was a system quarterback? Because there's nothing wrong with being a system quarterback. It means the system fits you, right? That's what you want. Because you have a lot of players that they can't play in the system, so they have to go. Hence, Russell Wilson maybe. But you know who else was the system quarterback? Joe Montana. There's nothing wrong with it. If you don't believe me, to really prove my point that he was a system quarterback from the West Coast offense, when he went to Kansas City changed their offense to the West Coast offense for Joe. Not because he's bad, No, because he excels in that offense. He excels in that system. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I believe Peyton Manning can play in any type of offense, but Peyton Manning was a system quarterback. He played in the system that fit him, and they played great. There's nothing wrong with that. So why does everyone wants to put him down? And then Cam is my guy, but come on, Cam. We tell the truth and shame the devil on this show, dog. Cam, this Joker having a better season than you ever had. So how can you say anything about him? Yeah, you ran the ball, but you was never efficient as this guy right here. Not true. You might not have had the players. I get that. But my whole point is you can't say this guy is not that good or whatever. Because it sounds like hate. I don't understand how anybody can say this guy is not that good. I understand you want to spot Cam, but how can you say this guy is not good when he's doing things that Jimmy G couldn't do? And I'm not saying Jimmy G is great, but I'm saying if it was a system quarterback, Jimmy G would have been this great too in that offense, which he was never this great. Am I right? Right. So
I don't know. Go ahead.
Jimmy, if you look at Jimmy G's stats, Jimmy G has never been this efficient and this good. Jimmy G has never thrown for over 30 touchdowns with the San Francisco 49ers. He's never flirted with 4,000 yards. And he had the same people. Even when he was playing when Christian McCaffrey first came to 49ers, before he got hurt, he was I think McCaffrey played one game with Jimmy G, I believe, whatever, or a few games. But even if Jimmy G wasn't this efficient, this guy's good. So my point is, go ahead. What you got to say? Go ahead. I'll let you say it. Go ahead.
So on the Jimmy G argument, right? He hit 3,800 yards twice. He hit 39 something. I think he had 39.78 one year. So he basically flirted with 4,000 yards. He had 27 touchdowns a year. He threw for almost 4,000 yards that year. Jimmy G was a 68% completion quarterback in that offense. It was 38-17 in San Francisco when he was a starter. Like, we're not going to discount how Jimmy G was.
Listen what I said. I didn't say Jimmy G wasn't good, but I'm saying Jimmy G wasn't this good. Jimmy G didn't play the quarterback position as good as Purdy's playing, and Jimmy G was balling. I always like Jimmy G. But my whole point is, this guy, he doesn't make that dumb mistake.
I think the thing is with Brock Purdy, right? Why all the hate for Brock Purdy is coming, right? Because everybody wants to turn Brock Purdy into the next big superstar in the NFL. I think that's what the problem is. Also, at the same time, the word system quarterback or game manager has been taken so completely out of context. It's like the scarlet letter. I just mentioned this in the podcast earlier. It's like a scarlet letter. Like, if you could call it a system quarterback, that's what you are. But truth be told, a quarterback's a quarterback. You have to be able to run something to do well. A system quarterback or a game manager is just as good as a gunslinger. It is what it is. You just have to know how to play your position. Brock Purdy plays his position extremely well. Brock Purdy also has an elite offensive line. He has the best running back in football and weapons that can do anything and everything else, right? That's what it is. Like, Purdy can play football. But the thing is, people want to throw Brock Purdy in this elite quarterback category. That's where I think the question becomes. And secondly, people are talking MVP because they know good and well they're not going to give Christian McCaffrey the MVP. I think that's already set in stone. MVPs are for quarterbacks, offensive player of the year is for everybody else on offense. That's really what it is. Because they don't want to give Christian McCaffrey the MVP, and they're going to give him offensive player of the year. Now they say, okay, well, Brock Purdy has all these numbers. Let him be the MVP of the league, when technically the MVP was the other quarterback on Monday nights.
Right. I mean, but even if still, and people give Lamar Jackson the MVP, which I don't argue against, but if you look at his numbers versus Purdy's numbers, I can understand why some people would say Purdy. I can understand why people say, I can understand why people say Lamar, but still, to your point, the MVP is, I'll put it like this: CMC should be the MVP. Tyreek Hill should be counted as an MVP. I would put Dak in that conversation too. I know it's going to be down to 3. And remember, I get a vote. So, they lucky because they lucky I ain't put Fields in. No, I'm just kidding. But
they'll revoke your vote right there too, because that stuff is public now. Votes are made public. They will come for you. You will be the most hated man on Twitter if your MVP vote cost somebody MVP because you voted for Justin Fields.
Right,
you will be on a poster.
But go with this MVP. I understand why people have Brock Purdy as an MVP candidate, as well as Lamar, CMC, Tyreek Hill should be in it, and Dak. But it's more than likely it's going to come down to, even if you want to be real, I mean, the only reason maybe not because he don't have as many yards as this guy, and he's not used just like McCaffrey. Mostert is balling. I mean, this joker got 23 touchdowns. So,
but most of them were inside 5 yards though. It's almost the Emmitt Smith rule where he's giving, because he's not a 1,000-yard rusher at this point. Like, he just has a whole bunch of touchdowns. He ain't got like 1,000 yards back there.
Mostert, let me see.
Where's he at?
Mostert has, I believe,
barely 1,000? Is he even top 5 in rushing yards?
We're about to find out. I know.
Okay. As you're researching that, right? As you're going, so we're stat checking here. The one thing about the MVP award is they don't want to. They don't want to give an MVP to a non-quarterback. Tyreek Hill is the only exception, but the one thing that Tyreek Hill was in that MVP race for is he was on pace to break 2,000 receiving yards, which is something that has not happened in the history of the NFL. He breaks 2,000 yards. He is the most valuable player in the league. But since he's not going to do it, he's not, because he missed the game.
Here you go.
Okay.
He has 1,012 yards, 4.8 average.
Okay.
4.
But the 1,012 yards, where does that put him among other running backs in rushing yards? Let's put that in comparison to everybody else, right? Because most of his touchdowns have been within under 5 yards. Because Achang is out there getting like 70 yards a carry and getting them down to like the 2-yard line, and then he just runs it in for 2 yards. Like, where is he at in rushing yards? Because you can talk about the 23 touchdowns, but how does the 23 touchdowns look? Because McCaffrey has 20 plus touchdowns, and McCaffrey's looks whole different because he has almost 2,000 total yards all the way around. So it makes it look a little bit different. But the reason why
I give it to McCaffrey. I'll say McCaffrey, you get it because he does with catching everything else. But for the most part, though, like I said, when you look at McCaffrey, like I said, McCaffrey should get it because McCaffrey has 14 rushing touchdowns. He has receiving touchdowns as well. He has over 1,300. I get that.
I mean, I'm just going to close out with this. Lamar Jackson should be your MVP. Lamar Jackson should be your MVP this year. It's more than just numbers, Lamar Jackson. Because you take Lamar Jackson away from the Baltimore Ravens right now, number one, they're not the best team in the AFC. They're not. You put Tyler Huntley as the starting quarterback.
I get this. No, but this is not the NBA. No, I understand where you're going, but what I'm saying is
it's the most valuable player, right? Doesn't matter what it is, it's the most valuable player.
That what you're saying has never been the reason why a player's won an MVP in the NFL for the last 45 years. It's always been stats, and you win. That's it. No, I agree with you, but I'm just saying we're not, because that's not what it is.
Last year's MVP was who? Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah, he threw for 50 touchdowns.
You took Mahomes away from the Kansas City Chiefs, and what are they?
They don't go by that. I'm telling you, it don't go by that. Because if that was the case, it would be a whole bunch of different MVPs for this team in the NFL. But all it is stats, and if you're winning. So if you're winning and you got stats, you're going to be up there. That's just how it is. That's just, and I mean, that's the way it's been.
Before we close up, name the last time a player won the MVP that did not deserve to win the MVP. Go ahead and do it.
You said
the last NFL MVP that shouldn't have won the MVP, that didn't deserve it.
You want me to say it? Yeah, it's Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. How long ago was that? Brett Favre's last MVP was 1996.
No, the one he wore and not Brent Favre. Yes, no, his last.
Favre's last MVP was 96.
No, he split with who was that? I'm sorry, who split with Barry in '97?
7 was Brett Favre.
Yeah, you said his last MVP was '96. It was '97.
Okay,
so that's the one. But look, because we gotta hurry him go because we ain't gonna have time to talk basketball. But I was gonna say that's how it usually goes. Like now, if they do it this year, cool. But I'm just saying, usually when we talk about the best MVP, we talk about the MVP is gonna go to a quarterback and the stats. It's not who's the most valuable. Because if that was the case, Barry should have won it a whole bunch of times. You had other running backs or receivers that's done it and they won. Jefferson, if you took Jefferson out, but that's not the case. And I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong in the way you think. I'm just saying that's not the case. But let's transition, man, because we don't have that much time. Real quick, I want to talk about this DeJounte trade rumors, and I'm gonna just touch on it real quick, then we move on. I mentioned this last week. I talked about DeJounte Murray, how maybe he's just not the right. It's just not fitting. He's not the right fit. It just don't work. Like I was talking about Russ, sometimes it just doesn't work, and it's not even him, just the whole system with everybody else. But it's trade rumors. Knicks want them, the Lakers want them, and all of that. But the only reason why they would trade DeJounte to get these picks back because they lost 3 first-round picks. Now, granted, and if I can give any excuse, I know every team has had injuries, but this Hawks team is under a new coach, different year. He coached last year, but he didn't have his staff. He didn't put in what he wanted to do. But everybody's been hurt. Now DeAndre's out. So you have certain people that's been out each time, whatever. But still, it might just be the fit. I don't know. So like I said, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to dig up some dirt. I ain't as cool, but I'm pretty cool with Landry. I talk to Landry. If I see him in the game, he'll walk up, dap me up. We'll talk for quick. See if I can pry something out of him, but I doubt it. But we'll see. I'm gonna try. But either or, I want to jump on this real quick. This situation. And Kurt, I don't know if you're still with us, but Kurt asked about this, and Ja Morant is back and Ja has been balling, but this situation with Ja, and after he got this game-winning alley-oop, and then the way he celebrated, a lot of people got upset. And Kurt, I don't know if you watch it. I want you to put what you was going to say on the chat. But a lot of folks got upset about the way, short again, Danny, about the way he did that, right? He got, they said he was wrong because he used the guns or the cannon, all of that good stuff after he gets off his punishment of suspension. Danny, I'm gonna let you have the first stab. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Go ahead. But did you believe this wrong or not?
It's the context of the situation. I don't mind I'm a Ja Morant guy. I love Ja Morant. He's one of the reasons why I watch him League Pass on a regular basis. Okay, we love Ja for who he is, but there's a context of a situation behind all this. You just came off a 25-game suspension. On top of the fact that you were excused last year for having a gun on, taking photos on Instagram or going live with a gun, and then you had one in the offseason. You've had a kind of a history and a bad situation with guns. You just completed a 4-0 week. You got the Grizzlies back in the playoffs. We should be talking about how they won all these games in a row, and they're putting themselves right back in the Western Conference place. But we're talking about you doing a dance that has multiple variations of it, because I've seen it on TikTok and I work in an elementary school that kids do this dance all the time.
What is the dance? What is the
I
dance?
forgot the name of it. So it's some kind of thing where you put something on your shoulders and you do a dance. Where the LSU does it all the time. The difference is some of them involving air guns. None of them had a rocket launcher in it. Okay, none of the dances had a rocket launcher. Okay, you're shooting air guns and a rocket launcher. Did you not watch Gilbert Arenas get 50 games the second he got in David Stern's graces, doing a gun to pregame warm up after having a gun charge in the district? We want the celebrations. We want Ja Morant on the court. Sometimes you just have to be about the moment. I don't care about his dad being on the court. I'm all for T. Morant being on the court because that's his kid. He deserves to be there. I don't care about the trolling of the state of Louisiana. But there's 15,000 TikTok dances you could have chose. You couldn't even did the damn gritty. Just do not do anything with guns and a rocket launcher, especially after you just served 25 games and put your team in a 6-19 hole trying to fight out of the playoffs.
Oh,
Come
so
on,
wait,
man.
So you mentioned, as we saw Kurt said it, you said it before I put it up, that it was trolling the state of LA. Why was he? I mean, Louisiana. Why was he trolling Louisiana? Because
it's a dance from New Orleans. So it's a TikTok dance made from the city of New Orleans. People in New Orleans, and especially say Louisiana, do it all the time. The LSU players do it all the time on touchdowns.
So you're not saying he should get in trouble. You just said don't do the dance.
Like, you're putting a target on you. Instead of us talking about what you have been done great. I mean, this man came back. He act like this. He's never been suspended the way he's been playing the first 4 games since he's coming back. He's looking like the Ja Morant that just never stepped off the court. Now you're bringing attention to something that you've already got yourself in trouble for. And I'm pretty sure Adam Silver's looking at television like, now how am I going to be able to defend this at this point? Like,
but you know what?
I bet Adam Silver's on TV rap saying, "Stop it."
Right. Look, but this is what I say. The reason why I love it is because of the fact that you seeing him being free. I think one thing we saw last year when he came back was Ja wasn't playing like Ja when he came back from that one suspension. Leave of absence, whatever it was, right? The what Jeremiah Green is on now, but he didn't look the same. He wasn't free. He wasn't playing, like himself, or he was tight. You could tell. Even post game, whatever, he didn't want to do any interviews. He didn't want it. But when he came back from this suspension, when he did that interview before he even came back, I was like, okay, that's different. That's what's up. Maybe they made him do it. But then, as you saw, I got to cover the, when they came to Atlanta, I covered the game, and I'm in there talking to him. That video went freaking, it's at like 132K right now, and I put it up the other day. But it's because you saw him being free. He's playing well. And when you get a free Ja Morant, you get a free. So I think it was good. Then it's the fact that he's doing it. He went. Now the problem is he's probably not thinking like he wasn't thinking when he was guns or whatever. But I would rather take that as a teammate of what he did as far as playing free when he did the dance, because you know what you're gonna get in Ja. Long as he don't go in the street or go out there with some real guns and mess up again, but you play free, because that's just haven right there between those 4 lines. Do whatever you do. I mean, don't do the Charles Barkley like that and blow the. I remember Charles Barkley did it to Golden State in '94. You can't do that. Don't do that. But I'm saying,
isn't this the same thing? He's not holding a controller. This is not Nintendo 64 controller.
That was a dance. He was doing a dance a dance.
So holding the rocket launcher like Marlon Wayans and Don't Be a Menace is also part of it as well too.
But would he would have got in trouble if he had a rocket launcher? If he had a rocket launcher outside it? No, it was the gun, not the rocket launcher. I'm cool with the rocket launcher.
But my thing is, the whole thing is the whole context of the situation. Okay, you can break out the dance, do a different version of it. You can do the gritty. You can do the butterfly since you get rapping from Atlanta. You can do the butterfly, do the backhand bounce. Pick out something. I'm pretty sure there's enough TikTok dances you could have thought of that would not have had to do, or do that dance and just don't use the gun salute literally after a week after you just got back from this. You just got back from this. And that's the thing, because it's drawing attention the wrong way.
So this
it wasn't looked at as a dance. Now you got the national media talking about this, and we're spending a segment talking about this now.
But this is what it is, though. It's part of this is what he get. This is his fault from what he did beforehand. But because everything you do now is going to be scrutinized. Everybody's looking. So that's on him. But at the same time, live your life, bro. You're not doing anything wrong with this. It might not look right, but again, if it's helping your team, you being free, and that's all he's being free. He's dancing.
But
if
it helps his team, we saw it. But what happens if the league gets a hold and is like, you know what? We don't think you've done anything. Now he's penalized not only the team, he's penalized the franchise as well too. Like, what happens if this taken out of context?
I don't think
it can be taken out of context.
But these are fans, though. I don't think Adam Silver is smart enough to know, you know what? Adam Silver know, especially if it's a dance. And then if one thing is, I guarantee you, NBA PA and everybody else will back him up and say it was a dance. And Adam will be like, okay, cool. Because again, the problem he got in trouble with is not because the whole thing came from the nightclub. Even what he did when he was in the video and he had a gun and his boy tried to hurry up and
the IG live after he came back from saying I learned about less about guns.
Well, listen, but my point is, I'm saying, yeah, that's coming from that, but it was really nothing wrong with what he did. But the fact that you just got in trouble with and reprimanded on his gun and all, true. But that's a physical gun. If you're doing a dance that has a gun in it, it's
Ref, have we not forgotten what's happened in the last 18 months with Ja Morant? We're talking about the incident with the kid, with the 17-year-old kid, the one incident at the mall. We're talking about the first off, if it's his gun, the gun was in Denver. They were on a road trip. How did the gun get there? Because if he brought the gun on a team plane, that's automatically an FAA violation. He can't do that.
Okay, so but what does that have to do with?
But you got to understand. Yeah. You got to think. You have a snowball effect of things, right? All this stuff is snowballing. It's not good attention. It's not good attention. That's the whole point. He's putting. You're not making this about basketball, right? The team went 4-0. We should be talking about the Grizzlies being 4-0. We should talk about how Ja Morant has energized a team that's been depleted with injuries. Because guess what, Raph? Up until last night, guess what? The Grizzlies are the most injured team in the NBA right now. They've had more injury loss games than any team in the NBA besides the Charlotte Hornets. And we're not talking about what Morant's doing on the court. We're talking about a 5-second clip on a game-winning, basically a game-icing dunk that involves something he's gotten himself in trouble for multiple times. This is not a one-time offense. This is now the second time. You had 2 offenses on this. That's what I'm saying. It's context.
But you know what? And we're because I want to switch real quick. The team probably don't care about that because you know what? The team don't want them to talk about them being 4-0. The team don't want them to. They don't care. The team, I guarantee you, any team don't want the attention of, "Are we the best team?" Nobody wants that, especially now since they're winning. They're cool. He didn't do anything wrong. Now, people, first of all, you know who's doing the most talking? The old folks. That's old folks.
Really, because Lou Williams was talking about it today on running back to that. Because everybody, but you got to think though, isn't that something the Grizzlies locker room don't have as veterans and people and OGs that can tell these guys what it is? Isn't that what is needed? It is, Raph. Come on. It is.
No. All I'm saying is
because everybody's picking on Chandler Parsons, and I get it. It's Chandler Parsons and his perspective because he brought his dad and all this other stuff in it. But if you listen to what Lou Williams had to say, it's all about context. I get all that, and that's where I'm coming from.
No, I get all that, but at the same time, this is a young man's game. He was doing a dance, a popular dance. He didn't do a dance where he made up and if he would have did that, okay, right. He did a dance that involved that's a dance. It's a dance. It was the dance. So all I'm saying is
it's a dance. It's a
It
dance
don't
where
matter.
you've been suspended twice for.
Look, all I'm saying is, I just that's in right here. All I'm just saying is, he celebrated. It was a popular, like you mentioned, popular dance, and that was he didn't say, all right, I got it. He didn't make anything up. It was just a dance. Like I said,
Rap. Can you go watch that? Rap, go play that film again, please. Can you please play the clip again? Because he is going in the gun motion, bro. We're not doing this. He fired air guns after serving a 25-game suspension and also taking time last year. That costed him not only the first 25 games, it cost him a max contract. It costed him the escalator clause. Do you know how much money this man just lost because he has an issue with guns? And you come back saying you're a changed man. Not the interview. I listened to the press conference when he came back and talked to multiple folks in the organization. You were just there. You were just talking to him last week. It's not about him having fun. It's about the context of what you're doing.
But
thank you, Ab. Read the room. That's what it is.
But look, you're upset now. You're somebody else, but everybody else is getting upset. I guarantee you, nobody on that Memphis team or that coach was up. That's all that matters. And if Adam Silver don't say anything, we are just like I said. It's to get off my.
If Adam Silver suspends Ja Morant because this became another incident, what are we going to say then? What are you going to say then? If he gets suspended, what are you going to say at that point? He just cost his franchise once again.
If he gets, but he was not getting suspended for that. There's no law to say he can't dance. There's no rule. If Adam Silver suspends him, it's going to be a big lawsuit against the NBA for that.
Didn't Gilbert Arenas got suspended for flashing a gun sign in a pregame dance ritual? We're not doing this. David Stern got him for 50 games for that. He got 50, not for the gun charge. He got it for mocking it. For as you call it, trolling. He trolled the NBA and got 50 for it.
So look,
ain't no lawsuit for this one.
We got to end it, Danny. Look, man, we got to have you back. Had you back, come on. Had you back, and we got to come on and we got to talk more basketball. Hey, then we get a chance to talk what we want to talk about. But hey, I'm just saying. But all right, bro. I appreciate you. Look, we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
My name is George Iceman Gervin.
This is Dylan Brooks. What's up? This is Vince Carter. You're listening to the 3-Point Conversion. Check it out.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta Surgery Centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
We are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Man, that was a very spirited segment, but fun. But we got to bring in some more company, and I guess we don't look at him as company because he's family. We got family in the building. We got none other than the one and only orthopedic for Ortho Atlanta, Dr. Donnie Fowler III. What's going on, Doc?
What's going on? These aren't gun signs. Don't worry. Just peace signs. Just peace signs. So
you better be careful because you're a doctor and they snip. You did something wrong. You do that. They go. But anyway, but Doc, you doing all right? How was your Christmas, man? I forgot that
It
game.
was, yeah, it was good. Nothing too exciting. Just kind of did the small family thing. Wanted to keep it simple for the first go around, but it was good. How about you?
It was good, man. I enjoyed it. I chilled the whole time, watched games. NFL was bogus for putting games on this year because of the NBA. So I'm trying to decipher. Like I'm trying to watch a football game on my phone, watch a game. So I didn't know what to watch, but I ended up watching football. I mean, I watched some of the Lakers game. By the time I turned it, they were getting blown out. So just what it is. But Doc, man, it's fantasy time, man, or injury time, I should say. But people got fantasy championship. Doc, how'd you do? Are you in the championship game?
I'm not. I'm in the consolation game of one, but just kind of disappointing. Team kind of let me down. I felt like I deserved better this year, but that's kind of the story every year when you don't win. So
yeah, I was 3-0 in the championship, and I was in the NFC championship, the AFC championship, and the Eastern Conference Finals this week. So I made it to the championships, all three of my games, man. Purdy helped me out. Thank God for Purdy. But let's get to these injuries, man. One that could affect fantasy and just the team, period, trying to get into the playoffs is Jamar Chase, who missed last week's game with the shoulder AC joint. He participated in the walkthrough. How much of a chance do you expect him to have to be able to play? And then how would they protect his shoulder if he does play?
yeah. So it seems like reading kind of between the lines, the initial thought was he might miss a second week this week and be out week 17 as well. He did a walkthrough, which isn't really anything because there's no contact. That's not live practice. He's still being listed as limited. So you'd at least want to see some kind of full participation in the next 2 days. If not, more than likely he's on the wrong end of questionable, and you may have to find another alternative for your championship game if you have him on the team. It's one of those things. I mean, the AC joint is kind of where the clavicle sits up over top of your regular shoulder. It's almost more kind of a pain thing, especially if it's not bad enough to do surgery. So if anything, usually they put some extra padding up around that area under the shoulder pads, just so that if you land on it, if you get hit, you're hopefully not irritating it quite as much. So.
Okay. So then we look at another wide receiver they made the playoffs, but this is the big game because they're trying to play for the number one spot in the AFC and they have a big game against Baltimore. Then, of course, you got people who might be playing this guy also in the championship game or wondering if they should play him. Jalen Waddle and his ankle injury. I think it was ankle, and I heard something about his heel as well. But they were I know McDaniel said he might have a chance to play. It's not as they thought it was. But when you look at that, I know it's more through playing through the pain. But how do you feel about him as far as where he played? Because this is a big game. They're in the playoffs, but do you think the game is big enough to where you say, okay, we can play him like they did when what's his name? Tyreek Hill with his ankle, he push off. But if it was a big game, maybe he played. So in this type of game, do you expect him to play? And if so, how will he be effective? Or could he be effective?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because they did come out and say high ankle sprain, which initially makes you cringe, and that's almost usually an automatic 3-week kind of time frame from what we know. But now they're saying it's not that bad, so I don't know if it's really not a high ankle or if it was just like a baby high ankle sprain. I know that's very fancy orthopedic terminology there, but I think as you said, it's a big game because if they win, I think they're kind of I think they tie, if I'm not mistaken, they'll be tied with the Ravens at that point on record, and then have the head-to-head and have the inside track for the 1 seed in that bye. If they lose, not only does I think Baltimore basically clinch the number 1 seed at that point, but then assuming that the Buffalo Bills take care of their business against, I think, the Patriots, which I would expect that they will do, that sets up a Week 18 game where the Bills are coming into Miami. But if the Bills were then to win that game, the Bills actually will win the AFC East and knock the Dolphins all the way into the wild card. So, I mean, they could fluctuate very wildly to the number 1 overall seed to the wild card based on the potential of this game. So they're going to have Waddle out there if they can, but regardless, they all are going to be in the playoffs one way or another. So at the same time, I think they do have to, of course, balance, being smart, because if he's lingering going into the playoffs, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, or the ankle in this case, by doing it. So I would follow his practice. If I think he does have a chance to play, will he be as effective as probably he normally is? Do I think he'll be 100%? No. But if he's on your fantasy team and he plays, I think you kind of, because it's probably going to go deep into the kind of fourth quarter. It's going to be a competitive game, and you're going to be really upset if you have him on your bench and he does produce. So I think it's a gamble you take if he plays.
Now, we have a few players that's dealing with particular injury. You got CJ Stroud, who might be coming back, and you have Cortland Sutton. Then you have Isaiah Pacheco, who a lot of fantasy players are upset at him for what he did. Not keeping it. I don't know what he was thinking, but either or, they're dealing with they're in a concussion protocol right now. All 3 of those guys. But I wanted to ask you, how do you know? I think I asked you something like this similar, but how do you know the player's not lying? Like when they tell you, like, because if I want to play, just like how they used to say back in the day when they had concussions during the game, hey, I'm good. I'm good. You asking questions, they can. How do
I mean, it is a good question, and honestly, to some degree, you can probably stretch some things a little bit. I'd like to think players are a little more self-aware of the long-term repercussions about not properly managing head injuries, unfortunately, with CTE and some of kind of the tragic situations that we've seen for guys that are pretty young and not that far out of playing. So I'd like to think most players still, I guess, think about the long-term health. But of course, a competitor, especially this time of year, they want to be out there, and a lot of guys are just kind of, want to go out on their sword kind of thing. So, they're going to try to play or do whatever they can. So all the players do very advanced cognitive testing prior to each season to kind of set a benchmark as to truly what they are. And it's not just counting backwards, or it is pretty intense of questions and coordination and different things, so that, again, they do have a baseline, so that when they test them, that's just one of the things. They have to perfectly, match up with what they were able to do in the preseason. And if they're any slower or any wobble or any sudden forgetfulness, it's like an automatic strike. So, I mean, that's part of it. And then obviously you got guys watching them out on the field and making sure they look comfortable as you build up their exercise as far as running and jumping and catching and hitting and phasing back into football. So I think it's actually a 5-step process if you look at it, how the NFL has it set up. And I think they've kind of done everything they can in the interest of safety to make sure that players are as close to, baseline as possible before they get out and play. And that's why some people, it does take sometimes 2 or 3 weeks, like CJ Stroud, who's now already been out a couple weeks, and other guys sometimes have a chance to come back a week later because maybe it wasn't as bad of a head injury.
Yeah, I think that's the question that everybody wants to know when it comes to concussions. And then last, I call it the MVP. I think the MVP of the league so far. Joel Embiid will miss his 2nd straight game with an ankle injury. With someone that tall and massive, Does he need to be 100% to actually, play when it comes to it? I mean, does the ankle need to be 100% for him to play, or is it more so of we got so many games left, let's just sit him down, or is it just, we don't want to take a chance at all?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go straight on size. I mean, there are certain things that big men are predisposed to injury on certain things, especially the kind of foot and fifth metatarsal fractures that Embiid has had and knocked him out for like an entire year, and we've talked about that with other players too. I don't know if I'd throw an ankle necessarily there that you have to manage it any different. But to your point, yes, he's arguably the MVP, and I think they're the third seed as of now. I know it's early in the season, but there's still basically a lot of basketball to play, and you'd expect a playoff chase. And this is something you want to make sure you get right and don't turn it into something bigger. So I think they'll be smart about it. I guess he's been out, 2 games and basically about a week. I think it was the 22nd or something like that he hurt it. So I don't think he's going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks, but I also think they're going to be smart about making sure he's at least 90-95% before he's back out there, even though I think he actually finished the game when he injured the ankle, if I'm not mistaken. But
all right, Doc, before we get to our picks, got a quick break, and we'll be right back because this is going to set us up for our picks.
This is Ab Stanley with the look inside the three-point conversions NFL power rankings heading into Week 17. This week, let's take a look around the league. Number 3 are the Detroit Lions at 11-4. Detroit has clinched the NFC North title for the first time in franchise history, and it's their first division title in 30 years. They'll need a couple more wins and a couple of more losses from San Francisco if they want to grab the NFC's top overall seed. Number 6 are the Cleveland Browns at 10-5. Cleveland has won 3 in a row, averaging 29 points per game during that streak. The easiest way for them to clinch a playoff spot is a win over the New York Jets on Thursday night. Number 11 are the Indianapolis Colts at 8-7. The Colts are currently the 7th seed in the AFC, and they have a 56% chance of making the playoffs. They'll have to win their games against Las Vegas and Houston to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. Number 12 are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8-7. Tampa Bay has won 4 in a row, and they're averaging 28.5 points per game during that streak. If they win 1 out of their last 2 games, they'll win their 3rd straight NFC South title. Our offensive player of the week is Cleveland Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper. He set a Browns record with 265 receiving yards in Cleveland's win over the Houston Texans. Our defensive player of the week is New England Patriots defensive tackle Christian Barmore. He finished with 8 total tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 forced fumble in the Patriots' victory over the Denver Broncos. You can find the full rankings at the3pointconversion.com, and you can find me, Ab Stanley, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Doc, we are back inside of 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, and it is time to do our picks. Right now, we are all, what are we? Rue is still in this, and right now, the record is we're all 39-25. Doc, your streak of going undefeated, it came to a halt, thank God. But
Did I had to make it interesting. All good things come to an end.
But we got to play this since we battling. This is our battle music, but we got to play this in the background. So, but it plays. But all right, Doc. So let's go ahead and start with the picks, man. So first game, we're going Detroit and Dallas. Go ahead. Doc?
Well, first, and I'm going to say we've called him out on it, but Rue's going to like submit his picks like Sunday morning, like once like the final injury report comes out, because I want to go on record that he still hasn't sent his picks in at the time of this
Right.
unless I've seen it. But love you, Rue.
Yeah.
Miss you. Hope to see you soon. So I guess I'll ask this: and I know they're not playing home. Have the Cowboys proven they can beat any good teams away from Jerryland?
No.
No. But are they playing in Jerryland?
Yes.
Yes. So give me the Cowboys. It's kind of crazy. I feel like they just look like a different team at home. I mean, the Lions have been a little uneven. I mean, obviously they've clinched the division. They can play for bigger things and have an outside chance at the number one seed, depending on what happens with the Niners and the NFC East. And if they beat the Cowboys, that's a big step in that direction. I feel like they've been a little uneven. I don't think Detroit's necessarily played the best on the road either. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I think Detroit will hang with them, but I think Dallas will handle business at home. So give me them boys, sadly, as much as I hate saying that.
And I'll make it quick. I'm going with Dallas as well. I just think, like you said, actually for everything you said, they're at home. They need to come home. They're ready to play at home. They need this win. The only thing is with Detroit is playing. Their confidence is probably sky high right now. So but like you said, for everything you said, I'm going with it too, Doc. I got Dallas at home. Next is Miami, Baltimore. Doc, I'm going to go Baltimore. Right now, Baltimore is the best team in the NFL. They're playing like it. They look like it. They just proved it, or they're proving it. They showed it on Monday night, Christmas night, the way they handled 49ers. The thing I love about this, we talked about MVP talk, just the command that Lamar has. And this is what made Donovan McNabb special, even with Russ when he was special, is the fact that even Elway back in the day, the fact that you don't have to run all the time. And sometimes I'm like, run, Lamar, run. But he's patient. He buys time. He'll run if he has to, but he's so confident throwing the ball, and he's accurate right now. Just with that defense, hopefully Hamilton will be able to play. Looks like he was all right. I should have asked you about him, but he was all right. But I just got right now, Baltimore is the best team in the NFL, and I got them beating Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to make it quick too. I would have said going into last week, I thought San Francisco was the best team. And then I think, sorely underestimated Baltimore throughout the season and maybe didn't give Lamar enough credit, losing playmakers like he has with Mitchell and Andrews, yet Flowers has come around, and I guess is kind of his new number one. And you don't need a stud running back when you have Lamar Jackson back there. It doesn't matter who else they have in the backfield. They have a productive rushing offense because of the threat of him running, let alone what he does when he does run. You match that up with the defense, and they really have been impressive. No disrespect to Miami. Obviously, I think they're a team to watch in the playoffs. But again, with this being at home in Baltimore coming off a big win, they got a chance to clinch the number one seed with a victory. I think they do it.
All right. And then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. Doc, we're going to give it up to you again.
Man,
I'm with you, Doc.
I don't know how to watch Steelers football and interpret things, because it's honestly, they're one of the most mind-boggling teams I think I've ever watched in a season, just with sometimes how terrible and god-awful they can look. And then you have all this dysfunction with Pickens and everyone calling him out and not blocking and it looking really bad. And then he goes off for like 1,000 yards and 2 touchdowns. And suddenly they just like destroy the Bengals, who had been looking like a legit team even without Joe Burrow. And it's like, where does that come from? So I really don't know who is going to show up on the Steelers side. I think Seattle has been a little more consistent, even though they've been up and down as well. Geno Smith is back. I think the running backs are pretty healthy. Still some injuries on the receiver side, but getting healthier. With it being in Seattle, 12th man, home field advantage, I'm going to go Seattle.
Let me ask you this, because I picked Seattle too. I really want to go Pittsburgh, but I'm so scared to, like you said, do you think Mason Rudolph can be that guy where he might be that spark, as like we were talking about with Peyton and Stidham? Can Rudolph be that spark? He's a different type of quarterback. He looks like probably the most confident quarterback out of all three.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good in that game. And the last time I feel like we were talking about Mason Rudolph was the whole Myles Garrett situation where it got ugly and the helmet got ripped off and swung and a lot of other things came from that. But I mean, he hadn't started game in like 3-4 years and threw for, I think, 250 and a couple touchdowns and looked pretty confident. So it seems like he has the team and he has a locker room at this point. So I guess I wouldn't be shocked or I wouldn't underestimate him, but I guess I'm still going to go with Seattle, but it wouldn't surprise me, to your point.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Seattle just because of that. You just never know what you're going to get with Pittsburgh. And then last game we're doing, KC is hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Doc, I'm going Cincinnati on this. They might get Jamar Chase back. I think they were as shocked as we were with Pittsburgh. Kansas City just doesn't look good right now. The offense doesn't look good. It's showing. They're not. Kelsey went off on his podcast talking about how it's everybody's fault. It's not just him, or it's not just quarterback or the running back. It's everyone's fault. I thought he was going to say it was Pacheco's fault, but anyway. But I just think right now that Cincinnati is playing. They're playing good football. They lost to Pittsburgh. No one saw that coming, but they're playing as a team right now. And man, the way T. Higgins is playing right now, oof. Now you can use him right now in the playoffs if you're in there. But the way he's playing right now, it looks scary. And I just think that Kansas City, first of all, Cincinnati's, I don't know if it's Burrow or what, but Cincinnati's always had, it's like Cincinnati had KC's number. They just got lucky the last year when the dude pushed them out of bounds, But I just got Cincinnati right now, man. I just can't. I just don't believe in Kansas City.
I mean, I think all valid points. And I could have used that T. Higgins earlier in the season, and I probably would have been in my fantasy championship by now with a better record. But yeah, Cincinnati looked awful outside of T. Higgins last week. Kansas City looked awful, very dysfunctional, and not the normal KC that we've seen over the last few weeks. And basically, something has to give. I'm going to lean KC. Obviously, I feel like you and I can't agree on all 4 picks, so this will be our at least one to look at. But I feel like the talent is still there in KC. It's a home game. I gotta think that those guys, they have vets. Mahomes, Kelsey, they're going to rally the troops. Hopefully, get everyone on the same page. And I think you're going to probably see a fired up, different Kansas City team. And when it comes down to it, even if Jamar Chase is back, if you give me Mahomes versus Browning in the fourth quarter, I'm still gonna go Mahomes. So give me KC at home.
There you have it, Doc. We definitely appreciate you for taking time to come out on the show, like always, and much blessings to your family. And hey, man. I should have asked you about Aaron Gordon too, his lacerations. We're talk about that next week.
Oh,
because
well, let me ask you this real quick. Since my Commanders are rising up the ranks and coming in hot now with the number 3 pick in the NFL draft, maybe we can even get up to number 2. What are your Chicago Bears officially going to be doing with that number 1 pick that they're going to get from Carolina?
I don't know. I pray. I don't want to start over with a new quarterback, just because it's like we're starting over again. We're going to go from it, and we might get a new coach if that happens. So I don't know. But if the Bears win out, like they win the next 2 games, which they should, and Justin plays well, I don't think he made one bad mistake last week, but I mean, it was an intercept. Like you can't expect him to play perfect every game, but the way the team is battling for him and saying that, hey, if he's not here, is going to be chaos in his locker room. We're not. You gotta keep him, and just get more draft picks. You still got a second draft pick probably in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So get more draft picks. You get more draft picks for next year. Set yourself up. I mean, right now, the way this team is playing right now, they're playing very good. Think about it, Doc, and I'll shut up. Think about it. The games that we lost since Justin Fields been back from the injury, we were up by 12, less than 3 minutes left in the game. The defense let that go. And then the game we lost to, who did we lose to? We just lost. I can't remember who we just lost. Probably, but we just lost, and we were up by 10, and we lost that game. So I just think Cleveland wasn't, I really think that the team is playing well. Justin played well. It don't make sense to pick another draft pick, get another quarterback, and start over again when you have the team is playing well under him. He's going to only get better. Coaching is getting better. Defense is playing better. Ride this momentum. We saw what happened to Detroit last year. Look what happened this year. Ride the momentum. That's all I say,
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Fair. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. But appreciate it, man. Have a happy New Year. I'll call you beforehand, but like I said, from everyone, have a happy New Year. We'll talk
You're not covering the Peach Bowl Saturday, are you? By the way,
no, they don't like me. So the guy that I'm gonna call him out, the guy that's running the Peach Bowl, he don't want anything to do with me.
Okay,
So,
I'll do some work down there for you on Saturday. See what I can do.
Appreciate it.
All right. Oh, Mr. Controversy.
Yes, sir. All right. That's what you say. A lot of people say it, but that's not happening. That's horrible. They might hire Lincoln Riley. Good try though, but not. I was with you with Caleb, but that's the only way Caleb Williams will probably come to Chicago if Lincoln Riley come. But I don't want him, man. He's not a. Look what they imploding in USC. I don't want that. I don't want him. No, hell no. All right, y'all. So, appreciate y'all for being here, and hey, man, it was a great show. Appreciate the comments. But look, y'all already know. You hear this music, already know what it means. It means it is time to let you go. But before we let you go, we have a couple of shouts out, and stay tuned because you might be one of them. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the Almighty God. Yep. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Almighty God for giving me the platform to do what I do, say what I say, make you all happy, upset, mad. Want to give me the stopper button? God, I appreciate you. I want to thank my guest. I want to definitely thank Dr. Fowler for always coming in. It's my guy. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for being family and being there for us, man, each and every week, being available. Also want to thank Mr. Danny Thompson for coming on, man. Electrifying our show. Appreciate you, Danny. You have a happy New Year's as well. Also, I want to thank everybody who listened and watched the show live, even listen to it as a podcast. You're listening to it as a podcast. I want to thank everybody who commented. My guy, Al. Appreciate you, bro.
my guy, Kurt. Hey, man, I don't know if you listen now, but thank you, man, for coming on the show. You got to continue to come on. I got something I need you to participate in, man. It's called Battle Rounds. I think you would love it. I think you'll be good at it. You know your stuff. Also, I want to thank my cuz, Wynell. What up, cuz? Appreciate you, Wynell, for checking in. Who else is in here? I can't remember who else is in here. And whoever else was in there listening and talking, and we appreciate you. Also, I want to thank my beautiful wife, lovely children, my nieces, nephews, aunties, uncles, grandparents, play cousins, regular cousins. Hey, love on family, let family know that you love them while they can still feel it, love them while they're still alive. Eat good, drink safe, be responsible this weekend. Happy New Year to everyone. Watch some sports. We got football, we got basketball, we got hockey, we got college football, NFL. Hey, until next week, same time, same show, same crazy host, same sports nonsense. Will you miss me? I'm out. Peace. Next year, y'all. Next year. I promise y'all. MVP. I told y'all last year. Next 2 years, next year, MVP. Justin Fields. Watch. Hopefully for the Bears. We out.